I'm Jeff Lyons, and this is the 14First Alert Weather Show at 9. Thanks for joining here this evening. Boy, what a great day it was today. We have more on the way. I don't know how I'm going to fill up my time here talking about beautiful weather, but we'll figure something out. I'm watching your comments here on the 14 News Facebook page, so maybe we'll drum up some conversation. Doesn't even have to be about the weather at this point. Well, you see it out there. The sun has set. And we are looking at a cool night with temperatures falling into the upper 50s and then gradually warmer, a little more humid tomorrow. A little more humid toward the end of the week. And that will lead us into some rain chances over the weekend. That radar is dry as a bone right now. It's not turning. There it goes. And when we look at the big picture, it's dry just about every place else. Overnight, no cloud cover. Tomorrow, maybe a few clouds. The only real difference in these panels here as we go toward Friday is a shift in the wind direction, and that'll bring us that warm and moist air off the Gulf of Mexico and get things juiced up in the atmosphere to support some showers and thunderstorms. 66 is our current temp in Evansville now. My goodness, it cooled down. And that's because the dew point's really low. The air's dry, so it doesn't hold heat at all. We have a 46-degree dew point, so yeah, it'll be a quick trip down into the low 60s and upper 50s tonight. We dropped down to 62 this morning and hit 81 this afternoon. Those are both normal temperatures for this time of the year. We're about 10 degrees cooler than we were last night at this time. Still a little humid at that point. And you see that at least for the month now, we only have 2 days in here, both orange, with 80s on there, and only 0.04 of an inch of rain has fallen so far this month. For the year, we're still way behind on rainfall, but we, at least for now, have an average temperature there. We've already talked about the drought monitor. That will update on Thursday, so we'll skip that one. Active weather trying to get going here along a cold front over the northern plains, South Dakota, North Dakota, into Wyoming. And then additional showers and storms across Texas, kind of that ring of fire formation where the high moves over here, into the Appalachians, and you get the storms around the periphery of that high pressure dome. And so as long as we're in the dome, nothing's going to happen weather-wise, at least no rain. By the end of the week, as that high digs farther south down here into the Carolinas and then into Georgia, we will have that fetch of moisture off the Gulf, and that's what will feed into a chance for some showers and thunderstorms over the weekend. And I've been looking at this, of course, daily. That's what I do. Saturday, it looks like maybe some scattered afternoon thunderstorms. Sunday, same thing, a few scattered thunderstorms. And then Monday, a chance of some scattered thunderstorms in those green areas. Doesn't mean everybody in the green gets rain. That just shows where you have the highest probability of showers. And total rainfall with the weekend thrown in there is at about 1/2 inch on the GFS. European also hinting at some scattered showers on Saturday night. And then more widespread rainfall perhaps Sunday and Monday, and lingering into Tuesday as well. So at least today, in this model run, both the GFS and the European are relatively the same. The European's rain potential through next week is a little more generous there at just over 1 inch. We will fall to 57 tonight and then get up to 84 tomorrow. Just perfect, right in the normal range. And then our rain chances begin to increase Saturday, and particularly Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, when we have about a 40 or 30% chance of rain. The temperature outlook is warmer than normal. I guess you probably figured that out. And maybe slightly wetter than normal. We'll let Jonesy pose for a picture here, our pet pick tonight. And while we're doing that, I will check your questions and comments here on Facebook. Go over to it. And let's see what we have here. Well, I just saw me up there, and now I don't see it. Oh, Facebook. It's kind of a love-hate relationship with Facebook, isn't it? I mean, on the one hand, you stay connected with people, but on the other hand, It has its own little rules and idiosyncrasies. Okay, I'm on there. We got Lenny Howard watching. Good evening from Whitesville there, Lenny. Let's see, Cheyenne Hammonds is on. Good evening, Cheyenne. Glad to have you with us. Suzanne Daly is watching in Morganfield down in Union County. Zach Seitz is on too. Ricky Brown. Your birthday is tomorrow, and so is Chad Seawitch. He was a meteorologist here for many years, so happy birthday to you. The 3rd of June, another sleepy, dusty Delta day. What was that the first line to? I'm showing my age here, but if you can name the song, I don't know what you'll win. You will win the honor of knowing what the 3rd of June, another sleepy, dusty Delta day, is the first line to. Okay, Jeff Miller, good evening. And we got Brian Steen in there from Franklin Hill and Tell City. Glad to have you on. Amber Patterson, any risk of bad weather this weekend? You know, that's a good question. We don't really have a cold, like a system moving in, as I've been saying over on TV. And, you could get severe thunderstorms without a cold front, but typically they are these storms that pulse up, and they might produce wind or hail briefly, and then they go away. But like a line of storms or squall line, that's not really looking likely at this point. We'll see. So the answer to the question is, I don't think so. William Raleigh got his first purple bell pepper today. I didn't know they made those in purple. I've only seen them in green, red, and orange, kind of, I think. Let's see. Who else has a question here? Nobody else. All right. Well, this day is actually one that I remember very, very well. June the 2nd, 1990, was an outbreak of tornadoes across particularly Indiana. It was the most tornadoes in a day since the super outbreak back in 1974 on April the 3rd. But in this case, the tornadoes came in the evening, and a couple of them, the strongest ones and longest tracked one, came right through the tri-state. There were 65 tornadoes in all, but they were spread across Illinois, Indiana, a little chunk of Ohio up here, and there's just a little smidge of northern Kentucky. And the paths here will be familiar if you're old enough to remember that. You'd have to be, about 45, maybe 40, well, if you were 46, you were 10 years old when it happened. So you might remember it if you were a little bit younger. But anyway, the tornado started over here near Burnt Prairie, Mill Shoals in southern Wayne County, tracked across Edwards County here near Browns, and then Albion, then Mount Carmel near Union, which is up here right along the Gibson-Pike County line, and then south of Washington through Lagodi, and it ended up near Bedford in Lawrence County. A second F4 struck right in Petersburg. It came through Petersburg. It actually was, I think the path on it was like 11 miles across the northern edge of Pike County. And unfortunately, we had 6 fatalities in that one. And the tornado occurred at the same time as the other one going through, are in close proximity. I can't remember the exact time frame on it. One of the issues that night was a little bit of confusion, because you got to remember we were using old radar data at that time, which did not necessarily have the resolution that you know and expect today. And so to have one tornado behind another one, very difficult to image on any radar, but particularly that night. And I can remember issuing the warnings as the first one came across. That one was on the ground for like 86 miles or whatever it was, or 106 miles. So we had, it was timely. But that second one, we kept getting warnings for Petersburg or for northern Pike County, thinking it was that one, but it was this one. In either case, people got the warning, but we still had 6 fatalities in Petersburg. There's a monument to them on the courthouse square. There's a stone there. It was a 13-mile path. Can't remember all the numbers there, but it went from Union to Alford, and it destroyed about a third of Petersburg when it came through. That was the one that destroyed the elementary school. It took the roof off of a nursing home there where 56 turns and goes toward Highway 41 south of town, and came just, a block away from the courthouse, the Methodist church, and then went straight through and mowed down a bunch of houses. Really, 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 probably in terms of damage and scale, right up there with December 10th, 2022 in western Kentucky. And then an F4, EF4 would produce damage that looks like that, and the June 2nd tornado in Petersburg certainly measured up to that. So anyway, it was a Saturday night. I was working here alone at the time. I had Rick Nodder was on the weekend news, and he called me. Back then, of course, we didn't have cell phones, and we didn't have computers, hard enough to believe. And he said something came over the wire here, and talked about this tornado watch. And they had already had some large hail over in southern Illinois. So I came in and wound up covering it. And back in those days, instead of wall-to-wall coverage like we would do today, we just broke in, did a 2 or 3 minute, hit, update, here's where it is, this is where it's going, show the radar. And go back to Blossom. I still remember Blossom was the show that was on NBC that night, some, stupid thing. But that's how we did it back then. That was the expectation, that was the policy, and, that's what we did. Chris Smith says he's getting old. I remember was watching you on TV, if I remember correctly. Well, yes, we're both getting old. I hate to tell you, Chris, it happens. Let's see. William Raleigh wants to know, when did Indiana last have an F5? I want to say it was in Perry County in the super outbreak, so April 3rd, 1974. That tornado became what was then later known as the Brandenburg tornado, but it started and is depicted on tornado tracking archive data as an F5. That's the only one that I am familiar with in Indiana. And that might be contested because I don't know if back then, if it was F5 at any point, then the whole path became F5. Today, when we get tornado track and path data, the Weather Service will delineate, here it was an F2, it was an F3, F2, F1, and there are strengths along the way. Let's see, who else had a question? I think everybody has gotten. Amber Patterson was 10. Let's see. '58, yeah, okay, so Lenny Howard remembers it. Yeah, I think the age cutoff would be about 43 or so, somewhere in that neighborhood to remember it. It was 36 years ago, so you'd have to be, 7, 8 years old to really have a grasp for what was happening. And after that tornado happened, the response went on for months. And the National Guard was there. They had to tear down the old school. Today there's a beautiful school there. There's a library built where the tornado tracked through. So it's a completely different landscape. But if you know where to look in Petersburg and other places along that path, you can still see some of the remnant damage, twisted trees and things like that. So that's what was going on here in this building at about this time. Back in 1990, and I was here for all of it. And that's all I have for you tonight. And by the way, the song, the 3rd of June, Another Sleepy Dusty Dull Day, that's tomorrow, and that's this guy's birthday. The first line to Ode to Billy Joe by, at that time, it was Bobby Gentry sang it. Others have covered it. I think, who else did it? There have been several. But that's the one, that's the original, the gold standard. All right, well, you've got a little music trivia here, a little weather history, and some weather science too. Beautiful weather, do enjoy, be safe. I'll see you on 14 News at 10.